Oh yes sir, another Smackdown has passed us by this Friday night, and we got Money in the Bank when we got Qualifiers this show, we got Qualifiers next show, and we was left wondering, who's left, who's next up for this big dog, this head of the table. Well, we found out, y'all. We found out. Let's go. My name is Jordan Moser, and this is your Smackdown recap and review. WWE continues to shoot themselves in the foot. I don't know whether they are prepping for sale or whether they just realize how bloated or how large their roster has gotten over the years. But this past Friday, they did make more WWE cuts to their roster. 14 names are now gone from the company. Unfortunately, some of which who have been around for a longer time, some of them which were on their first deal, signed back in 2020, 2021, early 2021. So it's really harsh to kind of see these things kind of die out. But just to read off these names, Fandango, who has been with the company for 14 years. I don't know if we realize he's been with the company for that long in that capacity. Everrise, Chase Parker and Matt Martell, Ariya Daivari, Tony Nese, August Gray, Tyler Breeze, the Bollywood Boys, Sunil and Samir Singh, Marina Shafir, Kurt Stallion, Arturo Ruas, Killian Dane, and once released but then signed back and now once again released, Tino Sabatelli. This is absolutely gutting, especially for some of these names who have definitely worked their way up on WWE television. Just to get kind of cut down and released like that, it's literally the worst, especially for guys like Everrise. They've been making the name for themselves as much as they can on the NXT brand, and they've been being entertaining and all that, and just to get cut like that it's the worst, honestly. I see a lot of these names are 205 Live guys, so in my opinion, I think they're probably doing away with the show, moving the Cruiserweight division kind of to where it's been centered at on NXT, and just kind of continuing with it that way, and just building up more names on that brand in particular. So 205 Live will probably be done away with more than likely, just in my opinion. But yeah, seeing this is absolutely gutting. It's not the end of the road, of course. Some of these guys, most of these guys will actually go after getting just awesome wrestling jobs wherever they go. Guys like Killian Dane, Breezango, even Tony Nese, he's had star potential the entire time he's been in WWE. Guys like that, and even some of the lower guys who didn't get a lot of chance to just shine, like Kurt Stallion, August Gray just going back on the indies, things like that, they're going to find work, whether that's in any of these companies that are just looking to scrap people up and just put them to use. So I'm praying for all of these guys. They just find their new line of work. Hopefully they don't have any 90-day contract clauses or anything like that, because they deserve to be working. Definitely. Even people like Marina Shafir, who definitely wasn't allowed to show what she could really do on NXT TV. She has a place. So just praying for these guys. They will definitely find work and be successful. But absolutely another awful decision for WWE from the looks of it, at least in my opinion, feelings. The main crux of SmackDown continues to be Roman Reigns, our Universal Champion. It's just his dominance and wanting to be the ruler of this brand in every single way. I love it. We see him at the beginning of the show just admiring his handiwork and taking out Rey Mysterio last Friday night SmackDown in Hell in a Cell. We see Jimmy Uso come in. He said, "Hey man, did you find your brother?" And Jimmy was like, "Nah, yeah, I found him. He said he's not coming back. We're gonna see what happens." I actually much rather prefer Jay in the fold, but we'll see what happens. But at the moment, Jay ain't coming back, so Jimmy's like, "Hey man, I'll do it. I'll take on. I'll be the right hand man." And Roman's like, "What you think you can do what your brother do?" You're funny, Jay. I need you to prove it. I need you to show that you got a little spunk in you. So Jimmy's out there wondering what that means. What do you mean you want me to prove it? We ultimately find out later he gets a match with Dolph Ziggler made up by Paul Heyman. So he goes out. Really nice showing for Jimmy. He definitely doesn't get a lot of singles opportunities. So this was definitely something a little bit different for him. He ended up getting the win with the super kick over Dolph Ziggler. Very decent matchup. I don't think winning over Dolph Ziggler means anything anymore, but still a good match, a good win. We see him kind of backstage afterward. He's like, "Yeah, man, I did it." And Roman's like, yeah. Didn't really say anything. I was like, he don't care at the moment, but that's okay. But yeah, Roman Reigns, he continues to go out to the ring. He starts to give his State of the Universal Championship address. Paul is like, "Hey, we beat everybody, bro." Everybody gone. Who is left? Daniel Bryan gone. Strowman gone. Everybody gone. Who is left? And as Roman Reigns begins to take the mic to give his address, You think you know me? Bow, bow, bow. It is the rated R superstar Edge. We know it was rumored that he was eventually gonna return to SmackDown, probably when fans came back, but this will do, because this was awesome. It was completely unexpected. He came out with the full bushy beard and everything, comes out, attacks Roman Reigns, and starts to put the beat down on him, eventually going for a concerto, and that's until Jimmy does come out to try to save his brother, but he gets destroyed for his trouble, speared through the barricade as Edge stands tall to end the show. He looks at that hard cam. He's like, "Where you at, Roman?" Even though he was on the entrance ramp, like we could all see him. I don't know. All you had to do was turn your head. Like, that's all you had to do. But this was incredible, an awesome return for the Rated R Superstars. Definitely totally unexpected, of course. And as Roman Reigns starts to pretty much like wonder, like, why is this man back? Like, I destroyed him, man. And it was really evident by the way he like reacted. He saw Edge, his face got numb. He took off his jacket. He was ready to fight, like they were going at it. So this is definitely an awesome challenger for Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, hopefully with Edge and kind of Seth Rollins in the mix, as well as we'll kind of see a little bit later, just kind of working that way to that SummerSlam match as well. That's something that I definitely hope and pray and I think is gonna end up happening. But as of now, the Roman Reigns and everything that's kind of happening on this show at least was phenomenal. First up in the night, though, we got our SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair coming to the ring, talking about how she whooped now Bayley's butt at Hell in a Cell. I'm just describing that. I'm gonna be real with you. I love Bianca Belair. I'm starting to fall asleep at her promos. I'm not going front with you. I'm sorry. Yeah, we need to get better. I need to get better, frankly. But yeah, Seth Rollins eventually comes out. They talk for a little bit, and then we get to start off and to kick off to this big mixed tag team match: Bianca Belair and Cesaro versus Bayley and Seth Rollins. Very fun tag team match. Usually mixed tags are not the best at all because they really don't know how to structure them, but this was pretty fun. We see a surprising ending as Bianca Belair is going for the KOD. Seth Rollins comes in, breaks it up. That allows Bayley to hit a nice running knee and that rose plant, which looks deadlier than ever, for the 1, 2, 3 and the win. Definitely a surprising win for both Bayley and Seth Rollins. She pinned the SmackDown Women's Champion, so I guess that feud is gonna continue. You think with Hell in a Cell, like the feud would kind of end, but I guess not. So here we are. We're gonna keep this going, which is fine, but yeah, definitely more than likely we'll see both feuds kind of continue in the near future. A very nice tag team match, very fun, surprising ending, but I'm not looking forward to these 4 people feuding with each other over the next couple weeks and months. I've already seen it. Like, I'm ready for something new. Come on, please. And just one of the more interesting parts on SmackDown, even though nothing really happened, but it was the coronation of Shinsuke Nakamura as the king, the true king of SmackDown. He comes out, he's in the white, looking incredibly fly. Like, I've never seen Shinsuke look that fly like that, man. Well, maybe Wrestle Kingdom once or twice, but yeah, he was looking fly in that white. I need him to wear that more often for sure. But he came out, put the ring on. Rick Boogs was serenading with the and we saw the little coronation. They were having fun. Pat McAfee was on commentary, dousing himself with water. It was amazing. But then we see Baron Corbin. Now Baron Corbin, he's not King Corbin no more. Baron Corbin backstage getting interviewed by Kayla Braxton, and he looks despondent and just sad. And I was like, dang, am I feeling for Baron Corbin at the moment? And he was just like, man, what's even the point? I've lost everything. And just walks off. And I was like, bro, this is good. Like, this is really good. I want to see some character depth for Baron Corbin. Like, this is amazing. I really want to see what he does next from here, because he's never been put in a position like this before. We don't see heels just like sad and like despondent like that. Like, it never happened. So like, oh wow, this is really good. I cannot wait to see what happens next with him. This is very exciting. Very good character depth for Baron Corbin. I love it. We have our first Money in the Bank qualifier for SmackDown. We got Big E versus the Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews once again. But like I'm not gonna say anything about it, but decent matchup nonetheless. Even though we've seen it many times before, we see come the end, Commander Aziz is thrown out for trying to get Big E counted out. He just sent to the back. That allows Apollo Crews. He tries to roll him up, but he fails. Big E catches him in the big ending for the 1, 2, 3 and the win. Big E is going in his first Money in the Bank ladder match, as said many times by Michael Cole on commentary. I wonder what that means. Maybe that does mean that he's going to get the big nod and the win in his first first matchup, but you never know. I mean, it's Riddle's first matchup too. So, we got 4 other guys that are going to be in this matchup as well. We see a little bit later on one of the other qualifiers is made, so I'll talk about that. But yeah, a very decent match for what it was. Definitely gives Apollo Crews kind of an out just in terms of victory. I guess he didn't have Commander Aziz, whatever. He's supposed to win. He's the champion. But good to see Big E kind of come on top and get into that matchup, of course. We see Sami Zayn go a little bit off the rails on this episode. He comes out, he talks to Kayla, and he's bragging so much. He's so happy that justice and karma worked in his favor. He won over Kevin Owens on Sunday at Hell in a Cell, but Kayla informs him that he will be facing KO again next week in a qualifying matchup for the Money in the Bank ladder match, and he is flabbergasted. Like, he is so upset. He goes to eventually talk to Adam Pearce, and Adam tells him the same thing, like, yeah, you will fight, and it's going to be a last man standing match. And I'm like, oh, hoo. And Sami Zayn is once again just like upset, just yelling and everything. It was really, he looked frankly crazy. Like, I know he's been like seen as crazy throughout the last couple months, but he looked like his eyes and everything, he looked actually crazy, like he was about to do something rash. And that was just amazing. So definitely a great character for Sami Zayn and just that depth. But I'm looking forward to the matchup next week. I thought things like the blow off at Hell in a Cell would matter a little bit, but I guess not, since we run it back 2 weeks later, which is fine. These two are meant to fight forever completely, and I have no problem with that. A last man standing match, I would love it with fans back in action, but doing it in the Thunderdome, I have no problem with at all. So definitely going to be a fun matchup. Of course, KO, I definitely expect and hope will come out on top and get into that Money in the Bank ladder match. Hopefully he can do some work as well, get him a title, please, but yeah, definitely a good way to kind of lead into next week with Sami Zayn going bonkers, of course. Now on to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The Raw side already filled up, everybody already in that match on that side. But for the SmackDown side, we got our first person announced for this matchup. Sonya Deville came out and announced the 2-time Money in the Bank winner, Carmella, as the first participant on the SmackDown side. She comes out, she says, oh my gosh, I'm so beautiful, oh my gosh. And that's where Liv Morgan, who has been feuding with her over the past couple weeks about being beautiful, apparently, comes out and she's just like, bro, like, being beautiful should not afford you opportunity. She smacks her in the face, and it was lovely. And then Sonya's like, I like your fire, kid. I like what you did there. I'm gonna give you a chance to earn it. You just gotta beat Carmella right here, right now. And then she did. She went out. It was about 3 or 4 minute match. Very okay matchup, but we see at the end, Carmella's going for that middle rope hurricanrana, and Liv Morgan reverses it for a roll up for the 1, 2, 3 and the win. She comes out shocked, surprised. It's like, yay. And I love Liv Morgan. So this is completely awesome. Of course, she deserves to be in that matchup, especially because they don't have a lot of women in WWE on the main roster at the moment, and they need some exciting new faces to be built up in order to be that. So definitely give me Liv Morgan in this ladder match. I'm guessing since she did win, it wasn't formally announced, but she'll more than likely be in the matchup. But yeah, definitely a basic matchup. They did what they could in like 3 or 4 minutes, but definitely happy with the result, of course. All in all, very run-of-the-mill episode of SmackDown, the Roman Reigns thing. Definitely the biggest part of the show, especially with Edge returning. It definitely gave the end of the show that little kick that it was kind of looking for. It would have been very run-of-the-mill if anybody else had come out instead of Edge. So very awesome last part of the show. Definitely a few things that did kind of catch my eye as kind of going into the future being exciting. The matchup next week, last man standing. Baron Corbin just getting some character depth. Liv Morgan in the Money in the Bank ladder match just makes me happy so much. But yeah, very basic. We see a lot of these feuds just continuing after having what seemed like definitive endings, which is hurting my soul because I yearn for the new. But yeah, definitely an okay episode of SmackDown. We'll see what happens as we're going into Money in the Bank. More qualifiers to come for the men's and the women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. But that is going to be it from me. You will see more videos throughout the week. Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your grandma, everybody who loves wrestling just about us, and we'll be here. Like, share, subscribe, everything like that. That is going to be it. I'm out. Peace. Y'all enjoy your weekend. You have fun. July 4th coming up. America. Yeah, sure. Yeah, something like that. I'll be gone. Peace.